All right, so this video is intended to be a follow-up to a video I posted last week talking about hopelessness and how I overcame hopelessness to begin to take control of my life and love my life and begin to live a meaningful life. So I'm just going to sort of ramble a little bit. I'll try to keep the ums and ahs to a minimum and speak, and then I'll eventually I'll take all the information in this video and I'll distill it into a more concise video. So summarizing my last video, there's a crisis of hopelessness in the West today. I think with men and women, but I'm as a man, I'm seeing it more. I'm seeing a lot of younger millennial and Gen Z men who are giving up. They're giving up on everything. I'm seeing it. It's really bad. They're locking themselves in at home, and they are watching YouTube doomer porn and real porn and playing video games, and they're doing nothing with their life because they feel like there's nothing that can be done, and they refuse to take control and take responsibility. And I've been there. I know how that feels. I've been that guy. I was that guy for 4 years of my life in my mid-20s, hopelessly, nihilistically, suicidal, felt like the world was against me, that there was no place for a white, unless you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, for somebody like me from a working class, blue-collar background, with probably slightly above average intelligence. I felt like there was no place for me as a white man in this world. And I wasted 4 years of my life rotting in a pit of despair of my own creation. And today I'm thriving. Today I have a wife, 2 babies, a big healthy dog, a beautiful home that we rent, and an investment portfolio. I love my job. I go to work every day and I do good, honest work for my community that pays me well. And I just want to share a little bit of background into how I went from being like DBDR and millennial steam and deconstructing narcissism, these really hopeless doomer type men, into a very optimistic, bright-eyed, industrious, hungry, happy, thriving 32-year-old. Okay, so something happened whenever in late 2017. So I think the main thing that helped start pulling me out of that was I discovered fasting. What is fasting? It's not eating. It's not consuming calories. Okay, so I sort of accidentally stumbled into fasting in 2017. I'd been on a path of I'm a Marine Corps veteran. When I got out of the Marines at 23 years old, I gained a bunch of weight over the course of a few years. I blew up. I went from being a lean, green fighting machine at 175 to about 245 over the course of 2 years. I blew up. I was obese, and then through that 4-year period of being really depressed, part of that was I was really overweight. I started losing weight with keto, but I was still really struggling with depression and anxiety. And I discovered fasting in 2017, and that really began a shift of me, of healing, of getting better. So I started dabbling with fasting in 2017, and it helped me continue to lose weight. But more importantly, I did my first 4-day fast in September of 2017. And on the 4th day, I woke up, and it was like a light switch changed in my brain. It was like my brain reset itself on that 4th night, that 3rd night, going into the 4th day. And years of mild depression and social anxiety almost evaporated overnight. It was a miracle. It truly was a miracle. And to this day, I regularly fast. My wife and I did a 3-day fast to start the year off, the first week of January. And fasting is a huge part of our lifestyle. And there's a reason why religious texts going back thousands of years talk about fasting. This is not a fad. This is one of the earliest recognized phenomena by humans going back thousands of years. most of the major world religions incorporate some sort of fasting. If you're actually following the religious, texts, the practices, they have we've known for thousands of years that fasting is the best way to physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually cleanse your body, to detox. And we're starting to understand this with modern science as well. Google autophagy. Read about autophagy and fasting. Fasting is amazing. So, fasting, okay? For men, semen retention, okay? For me, the combination of fasting and semen retention is the most powerful combination of tools I have in my toolkit to pull myself up by my bootstraps and do anything. Any little funk I get into, any rut, if I spend a couple of weeks mostly fasting and retaining my life force, I can transmute that into unbelievable creative powers. Most men today, we have lost touch with that raw, deep spiritual part of ourself that starts in your balls. To be crude, it really is. We have this raw creative energy that God has given us, and you can do a few things with it. You can create children, or you can retain it, bring it up to your higher energy centers, and you can transmute it into unbelievable productive creative genius. Okay, you can do those two things. Those are both beautiful things. I've got 2 children. I plan to have more. Right now I'm at a stage where unfortunately most of it goes to my wife. I share that energy with her even without creating children. But when it's time for us to bootstrap a big change in life, I will begin to retain and transmute that energy and do whatever I want with it. Whenever I am retaining, when I'm active, doing a lot of walking, specifically weighted walking, and this is what I did back in 2017. I discovered the power by accident of retention. So fasting, semen retention, and being active. Okay, for me it's walking. Just literally just getting the process of eyes forward, moving in a direction, walking. Deep breathing, fasted while retaining. This is not woo-woo. This is science that we are on the cutting edge of understanding. We are just, this century, we're going to discover so much about the power of semen retention and fasting, specifically together for men. When I do it, my testosterone goes through the roof. People look at me different. My face has a different glow to it. I can command a room. My voice changes. The way I speak changes. Everything about the way I interact with the world. And it's like the universe begins to move around me. It sounds like woo-woo. It's not. This is real stuff. You have to experience it. So if you're struggling, you got to get rid of the porn. You got to get rid of the food. Okay, porn and food are killing our young men. You want to stop being hopeless? Stop watching porn. Stop wasting your vital life force. Start fasting, okay? The most common excuse I hear from people is, I can't do that for whatever reason. It doesn't feel good. It's not supposed to feel good, okay? It's supposed to be uncomfortable. It's the more you do it, the easier it gets. I'm at a point now where I literally don't get hungry. Most days, like, I can fast for 36 hours easy, 4 days a week, because I'm just used to it. I'm used to going, even working in the job. I work a very strenuous, hard labor job. Not so much right now, but during the summers, it's really terrible. And I can go all day long, sweating, working my ass off, and I won't start to get hungry until 4:30 in the afternoon, working all day. So fasting, semen retention are, from my experience, the 2 most important practices any young man can start to incorporate into his lifestyle, regardless of what your circumstance is. I mean, if you are trying to figure out how to get yourself out of this rut, fast and retain your seed. Just start there, and you'll start to figure out the rest. It's amazing the divine intelligence you can tap into when you just get rid of these spiritual blocks that you're putting on yourself. Okay, for those of you young men who are struggling, if you start fasting regularly, exercise is important. It's super important. Losing weight. The foundation of a man taking control of his life is from my perspective, I truly believe it's fasting, it's picking up and moving heavy weight and walking. So I prefer rucking. So I like throwing on 30 to 40 pounds on my back and just going and walking. Okay, that's my exercise of choice. Fast, 2.5 to 3.5 mile pace. Get rid of the porn. Retain your seed, okay? And it's painful at first. You have to, because you're going to start to, this energy is going to build up in you, and you have to learn how to transmute it and put it to productive use. But you got to start somewhere. So start by fasting, start by retaining, and you will immediately begin to notice how the world starts to change, okay? It's amazing. I had some profound spiritual, mental, physical breakthroughs just from a week, just literally 7 to 10 days of retaining with a couple of, 22 to 48 hours or 48-hour fasts mixed into that, and lots of walking, lots of good, get the heart rate up, breathing deep, getting a good sweat going. Almost overnight, your mind as a man will start to change, and you will start to see the world differently, and you will start to take control of your environment, and you will find the motivation you need to snap out of this pitiful, hopeless little rut you are in. So I could drone on all day about it. I want to keep this short. 12 minutes is long enough. I've talked enough. Just want to share a little bit. I'm going to try to keep pumping. I'm going to try to keep pumping these videos out and keep them short, concise, and relevant to specific topics. And but yeah, so to summarize, fasting and semen retention there's way more than that, but that's the foundation of how I began to turn my life around, pulling myself from hopelessly, nihilistically depressed and anxious, 24/7, fat, lazy, couldn't keep any money, to husband, father, hustling out in the world, making money, building an investment portfolio. That's where it started, right there. And I'm continuing down this journey and expanding upon all of that to learn more. And hopefully I can take this knowledge and bring it back down and help. If I can help one guy in person or online, I'll keep doing these videos. So thanks.